Hello students. In the last lecture, we had covered primarily resultant of concurrent force system along with the basic concepts of the chapter. In this lecture, we will cover type 2 problems, which is a resultant of parallel force system. Before learning, before moving to the problems of type 2, we need to learn little theory about the chapter. One is, so we start with movement of the force about a point. Now you can see that here, when a force is applied on the body, it has tendency to turn the body. Turning tendency of the force about a point is called as movement of the force about that point. It is numerically equal to product of the force and perpendicular distance from the movement center on the line of action of the force. If force tries to rotate the body in clockwise direction, movement is clockwise. If the force tries to rotate the body in anti-clockwise direction, movement is anti-clockwise. The best way to, what are the units of the movement? What are the units of the movement? Newton meter, Newton mm, kilonewton meter, kilonewton centimeter, etc. Now, the best way to understand the nature of the movement of a force about the movement center is that we consider an axis about movement center. Like in this diagram, you want to find movement of force P about movement center O. Assume an axis perpendicular to the plane of the body and passing through movement center. Consider that the body is free to rotate about an axis through the movement center. Now you see that if the body is free to rotate about an axis through O, force P will try to rotate this body about this axis in clockwise direction. So movement is clockwise. What is movement? P is a magnetic force into D, P into D clockwise. Whereas in this diagram, you can see that force P is applied vertically down on the left side, movement center is on the right side. Now consider that body is free to rotate about an axis through O, then P will try to rotate this body about this axis through O in anti-clockwise. The movement is anti-clockwise. What is that? P into D, anti-clockwise. And movement of the force about a point is zero when line of action of the force is passing through movement center, which is, I have listed it as a note here. Movement of the force is zero when line of action of the force is passing through movement center. Now, here I have taken one example. This example will give you the fair idea how to find the nature of the movement about different movement centers. Now you can see that here I have taken a bar or a rod on which force F1 50 kilonewton is applied vertically down at C. F2 100 kilonewton is applied vertically upward at D. Suppose I select movement center A. Then we say movement of F1 about A. So what I'll have to first think that this bar is free to rotate about an axis perpendicular to the plane of this bar and passing through A. So axis rotation is through A, the through movement center. You can see that the 15 kilonewton force, which is vertically down on the right side of A, it will try to rotate the bar about A in clockwise direction. So movement is clockwise. What is movement? 50 into 3, 150 kilonewton meter clockwise. Now let's see the movement of F2, force 100 kilonewton upward about A. Now this F2 will try to rotate this bar about an axis through A in anti-clockwise direction. What is movement of F2 about A? 100 into 7, that is 700 kilonewton meter anti-clockwise. Identically, we will take movement center B. Movement of force F1 about B. Now we'll assume an axis. The movement center is at B. Now movement center is B. Consider an axis through B. Movement force F1 will try to rotate this bar in anti-clockwise direction about B. So movement is anti-clockwise. 50 into 7 is the perpendicular distance. That is 350 kilonewton meter anti-clockwise. Identically, if you are looking for movement of F2 about B, what is that going to be? This about an axis through B, F2 will try to rotate the bar in clockwise direction. So movement is clockwise. What is that? 100 into 3, 300 kilonewton meter clockwise. And if you want to find movement of F2 about C point, this is, sorry, F1 about C, movement of F1 about C, it will be 0. Here there is a minor correction in that. I have written here moment of force F1 about C. So force F1 about C, that is correct. But while writing it in the short form, by mistake, it has come F2. It is F1 actually here. Can you see that? It is F1 only. Moment of F1 about C is 0. Why moment of F1 about C is 0? Why moment of F1 about C is 0? Because line of action of the force is passing through movement center. So there won't be any perpendicular distance. There won't be any perpendicular distance. So that's why moment of force F1 about C. Identically, moment of force F2 about D will be 0 because line of action is passing through. Next, we move to the most important theorem of mechanics subject. We move to the most important theorem of mechanics, which we can call it as backbone of my subject, Varignon's theorem. This theorem is essentially required to solve the problems of parallel and general force system. Without using this theorem, you cannot solve the problems of parallel and general force system. Why? What is its importance? You saw that in case of concurrent force system, in my previous lecture, you saw that in a concurrent forces, all forces meet at a point or pass through a point. So the resultant will also pass through the same point. So position of the resultant is already known to us. Whereas in parallel and general force systems, as the forces are scattered, so you have to locate the position of resultant with respect to some reference point. So that we find it using Varignon's theorem. What is Varignon's theorem? Algebraic sum of the moment of a system of coplanar force system about any point is equal to movement of the resultant about the same point. You can see that if suppose movement center is O, so I have written sigma MO. Sigma MO is what? Algebraic sum of the movement of all forces of the system about point O. O is the reference point. And on the right side, what I have written? MRO. MRO means what? Movement of resultant about O. So sigma MO, algebraic sum of the movement of all forces is written on the left hand side, and we take movement of the resultant on the about the same point on the right side. So this gets you the perpendicular distance of the resultant from selected or decided movement center O. This is what is the use of that. Using this theorem only, we can find position of resultant of parallel and general force system. Its derivation I have not covered here. Derivation is given in my book. As you know, that book is available on Amazon, and its link is given in the description of the playlist or of the chapter. It is given in the beginning of every lecture. Okay, and for more solved as well as unsolved problems also, you can refer to my book. All right, and its link is given in the description list. All right, now let's come back. So derivation is also important, but I have not covered derivation since it is self-explanatory. You can easily understand it. Now we come to what is the limitation of the Varignon's theorem. Varignon's theorem cannot be used when resultant of the force system is 0. See, we do not use it for concurrent force system at all. We use it only for parallel and general force system. For parallel and general force system, if the resultant force is only 0, then you cannot use it. And it is quite obvious. If the resultant is 0, then what position you are going to locate it? So in that case, it reduces to some other concept which we will understand later. Now, uses of Varignon's theorem. Now, Varignon's theorem has two uses. One use I have already discussed. Again, I repeated that it is used to find the position of the resultant in parallel and general force system. So that is one of the important steps in the solution of the problems of parallel and general force system. Second use of this theorem is that you can find the moment of the inclined force without dropping a perpendicular or without going for geometrical construction. This will be well understood with the help of this example. See, this is a rod of 10 meter length. There is a force of 100 Newton applied at point B at 60 degrees as shown. As per my previous knowledge, if I want to find moment of this 100 Newton force about A, so I'll assume an axis through A, and a moment of F about A will be F into D. D is the perpendicular distance. I have dropped the perpendicular from A on line of action of the force. All right. D is going to be 10 sine 60. All right. And if moment of F about an axis through A, right, will be this force will try to rotate the bar through X about axis through A will be clockwise. So 100 into D clockwise. F into D clockwise, F is 100, D is 10 sine 60, so 866 Newton meter clockwise. This is our traditional knowledge. You can say that what we have been learning that if you want to find the moment of a force, you have to simply drop a perpendicular on the line of action of the force, and moment is force into perpendicular distance, right? That is our traditional understanding. Now, but when you know Verignos theorem, you should not use a traditional understanding of what we are for finding moment. What we do, the same bar has been drawn. This time what I have done, I have resolved 100 Newton force. You can see that this is 100 cos 60, this is 100 sin 60, right? I have resolved it. Now, instead of taking moment of 100 about A, I'll take algebraic sum of the moment of its two components. Now, what is moment of 100 cos 60 about A? 0. Why moment of 100 cos 60 about A is 0? Line of action is passing through moment centers. There. What about 100 sin 60? Now you will assume an axis through A. 100 sin 60 will try to rotate the bar through about axis through A in clockwise direction. So what is movement of 100 sin 60 about A? 100 sin 60 into 10. So you can see that movement of F about A. So we are summing up the movement of these two forces. 100 cos 60 about A is 0, since line of action is passing through. So that has not been listed here. 100 sin 60 into 10 is the movement of 100 sin 60 about A is clockwise. So that is 866 Newton. You can see that you have got the same result. What you got it here, you got the same result. What is here? So students, now you will not use this traditional understanding of finding the moment of inclined force. You will use this modified understanding to find the moment of inclined force. You don't drop a perpendicular on inclined force, rather you resolve the force and then we take algebraic sum of the moment of its two components. As in this example, it has been explained. Now, next we talk about principle of transmissibility of a force. This principle is directly not applicable in the current lecture, but it has big significance at later stage when in certain chapters it is going to be useful. Probably in the next lecture also we will have the use of principle of transmission. What is principle of transmission? Principle of transmission state that condition of equilibrium or motion of the rigid body is not affected if a force is transmitted to act along its line of action at some other point. I repeat once again, state of body of rest or of motion is not affected if a force acting on it is transmitted to act along its line of action at some other point. Can you see here? This is line of action of the force, that is along AB. Force is applied at point P. Whereas in the second diagram, force P is applied at A. But what you can see in the two diagrams, is magnitude same? PP. Is direction same? Same. Is line of action same? Yes. What is only shifted? Point of application. In this, point of application is at B, and then it is A. But is it the point of application has been shifted along the line of action only? So when you shift the point of application along the line of action, it does not change the effect on the body. The body as a whole will experience the same effect. Now, to explain my point, I have taken here an example. These are the two figures. You can see that in both the figures, I have shown a car. All right. On this car, 100 kilonewton force is applied at point A along line of action AB. 100 kilonewton force is applied. A pushing force is applied from the behind at A along AB. All right. Car will experience something. In the second diagram, 100 kilonewton force is applied at B. It is a pulling force, right? In both the cases, you can observe that car will experience the same. Although point of application has been shifted. Here it was at A, here it is B. But why car will experience the same? Because magnitude of 100 kilonewton has not changed. Direction horizontally towards right has not changed. What has changed? Point of application. But point of application has been changed along line of action only. So this principle is useful to us while solving the problems of certain types, which we'll understand in the subsequent lectures. Now, next we come to couple. Two equal and opposite parallel forces form a couple. That we have been understanding from our previous level also. Two equal and opposite parallel forces whose line of action are not same form a couple. The two forces forming the couple will tend to rotate the body, will try to rotate the body. And what is the movement of the couple? Force into perpendicular distance. What is movement of the couple? Force into perpendicular. I have shown here two bodies. In this body, force F is applied towards right at above, below force F to the left, separated by distance A. So above force F to the right and lower force F to the left put together will try to rotate this body in clockwise direction. So movement of the couple is clockwise. Movement of the couple is clockwise, F into D. Whereas in this diagram, you can see that force F on the left hand side down, force F on the right side upward, put together, they will try to rotate this body in anti-clockwise. So movement of couple is anti-clockwise. What is that? F into D, anti-clockwise. All right. Now, we will have some other theoretical concept where we'll prove that movement of the couple is fixed. It does not depend upon movement center. It's a free vector. We can say that it's free vector. Here I have taken a body on which two forces are applied, forming a couple. One is F above towards right, passing through point O1. Another F to the left, passing through point O2. They are separated by distance D. Okay. Now to prove that movement of couple is fixed, I'll select three movement centers, O1, O2, and O3. Now, first we'll talk about O1. If you take sigma M O1, here what is sigma M O1? So movement of this F will be 0. What is more? We'll assume an axis through O1. What about lower F will give clockwise movement, F into D clockwise. Now we take this movement center O2, movement F about O2 is 0, F into D is clockwise. Same. Now we shift the movement center at O3. This time both the forces will give movement. Movement of above force F about O3 will be clockwise, F into D1, perpendicular is 0. And lower F, force F, which is to the left, will also give clockwise rotation. If you keep you assume an axis passing through O3, you'll see that above F will also give clockwise rotation to the body, lower F will also give clockwise rotation. So total movement about O3 will be F into D1 plus F into D2, both clockwise. So if we can write them, F is common, D1 plus D2, D1 plus D2 is D. So we have proved that we took a we took the example where two forces equal and opposite were forming a couple. Then we assumed three different movement centers, and we proved that sigma M O1, sigma M O2, and sigma M O3 all gave the same value, and that is what is F into D clockwise, which we understand directly also. So this proves that movement of the couple is fixed. It does not depend upon movement center. Next article, resolution of a force into force couple system. We will be having problems on this concept also. Now, first we will understand. Just see that. You directly look at this diagram. Here I have taken a body on which force F is applied at A horizontally towards left. I have a point B on which I want to find its effect. That means force F applied on this body at point A horizontally towards left. What will be the equivalence at point B? I want to find if I want that my body should experience the same, what should I apply at B? Now to understand that, now come to the second diagram. In the second diagram, students, what I have done, you see that F at A is as it is. At point B, I took F, same F what is there at A as it is at B, and I took it F on an opposite direction. So what is happening with that? This F and this F will balance each other, will nullify each other. So still I can say that force system acting in the first diagram as well as in second diagram will be same only or not. I again repeat that on this first diagram, force F is applied at A. I want to find what should be applied at B so that the body experiences the same. So I assume at point B, same force as applied at A to the left and to the right also, so that these two forces will nullify. So still we can say that this first diagram and second diagram are equivalent. Now, this force F and this force F will form a couple. this force F and this force F will form a couple. So these two forces will be consumed in forming the couple. What will be movement of the couple? F into D anti-clockwise. F into D anti-clockwise. But this force is still left out or not? So in the third diagram, left out force F at B I have shown, and I have shown movement is F into D anti-clockwise. So we can say that step-by-step approach, we understood that force F applied at A is equivalent to same force at B, and movement which you get it in this arrangement or this step-by-step approach, we will remember it in this manner. What will remember it? Now you can, this is step-by-step approach of arriving from first body to second body, second is equivalent to third. Now directly from first to third, we have to come for solving the problems. Now you can forget this step-by-step approach. What do you remember? You are given with the body. Now you understand how to, you are given with the body on which force F is applied at some point. You want to find its equivalence at other point. So what will be equivalence? Same force as it is. You wanted an equivalence at D. So same force, what is at A, I applied at D. Okay. What else we needed? There will be a movement. Movement कैसे निकालेंगे हम? अभी पहले वाले body पे जाओ. Take this as movement center B, where you want equivalence. Find movement of F given F about B. F into D anti-clock. उसको ऐसे. This is the way in which. So this is, I have listed all this here. Force F acting at point A can be replaced at B. A single force F as it is. देखो ये force F to the left, ऐसे F to the left. What else? Movement of M of the force F about at A about B. So F into D anti-clockwise. So this is what we will remember it. It will be more clear when we are solving the problems. On this side, I have given important points related to the resultant. All these points we have covered in the problems. Only thing is, it is listed so that when you have covered the entire chapter, you can just read them. That's it. All right. Through the problems, we will be covering all these points. Now, sign convention to solve the problem. Sign convention, in the previous type, when we were solving the problems of resultant of concurrent force system, we had already understood the sign convention for sigma fx and sigma fy, which has been repeated again in this type also. For sigma fx, algebraic sum of the component all force in x direction, we take forces towards right as positive and towards left as negative. For finding sigma fy, algebraic sum of the component of all force in y direction, we take upward forces positive and downward negative. This is something what is very universal, right? All authors, all teachers follow the same. Now, third sign convention, which is now important, which is the new one which you are coming across, is this part. What is that? In this part, in this type of the problems, you need to find algebraic sum of the movement of forces. We'll be applying Varigno's theorem. So we have to adopt the sign convention for movement. When you are summarizing the movement of various forces about a point, certain forces will be clockwise, certain forces will be anti-clockwise. So when you are finding sigma m for applying Varigno's theorem, we will be adopting anti-clockwise movements as positive and clockwise movements as negative. Okay, this sign convention may change. Some people take it anti-clockwise positive, clockwise negative, as I'm suggesting I'll be taking. There are some teachers who take clockwise positive and anti-clockwise negative. Both the sign conventions are correct. All right. So we will stick to our sign convention. Other teachers may stick to the other sign. But finally, the result answer comes same only, right? But what sign convention I'm adopting, it is something what majority of the teachers adopt or majority of the authors have used. Now, next we come to the, now finally we are reaching a level where we are ready to start with the problems of parallel force system. Here I have listed that what are the steps to be followed while solving the problems of resultant of parallel force system. First step is going to be, see, you will draw the given diagram. You'll find that all forces will be either parallel to x-axis or will be parallel to y-axis. Clear? If all forces are parallel to x-axis, your resultant is going to be, R is going to be sigma fx. If system, ये छोटा सा minor correction आ गया, ये find R है वो F नहीं है. This is R. If force system parallel to axis and R is equal to sigma fi, force system is parallel to y-axis. This will be very clear when we are solving the problems. I repeat again, if force system is parallel to x-axis, resultant is sigma fx. If force system is parallel to y-axis, R is equal to sigma fy. There is no resolution you will come across in this type of the problems. Next comes position of resultant. To find the position resultant, students, we need to know a reference point. This reference point may be given to you in the problem or may not be given. So if they do not give, then we select a point. Then with respect to that point, we find sigma m, algebraic sum moment of all forces of the parallel force system about that point. Then once you get sigma m, here it will have clockwise or anti-clockwise. Based on that, we position the resultant in such a way that nature of sigma m and nature of movement or resultant about designated point will be same. Because when we apply Verignos theorem, sigma m and movement or resultant about that point should be same. All right. So using Verignos theorem, sigma m, say about O, sigma mo is equal to movement resultant about O. So you get the perpendicular distance of the resultant. You get the perpendicular distance of the resultant from the reference point. All right. And this all will be now ready to start with the problems. So things will become all the more clear about the theory, what we have learned. Now, just see that we are ready to start with the problems of resultant of parallel force system. So this is my first problem. I have shown it a parallel force system. Now see that in this given force system, all the forces, are they parallel to y-axis or not? All the forces are parallel to y-axis. You can see that. No resolution is required in that. So what will be R is equal to sigma Fy. What is R is equal to sigma Fy? What is sign convention? Upward positive, downward negative. See that. This 200 is down, negative. 500 is up, positive. 350 down, negative. 150 up, positive. 200 up, positive. If you sum them up, you get plus 300. Plus 300 means 300 Newton is the resultant, which will be upward. Since it is positive, so you got it. So with that, R is equal to sigma Fy, you got magnitude of resultant and you got direction of resultant. Resultant force R is equal to 300 Newton upward. Now students, we need to decide in this problem, examiner has not given the movement center from where the position resultant is to be measured. So it is our choice. I took this point as reference on the line of action of the first force. All right. Let us take O point as reference. This is our choice. You can take some other point, that does not make any difference. Now we'll find sigma m. Sigma mo means what? Algebraic sum of the movement of all forces about movement center O. Movement center O we have selected, this is what's not given. Now you'll assume that this bar, the forces are acting on a bar or a rod, and there is an axis perpendicular to the bar and passing through movement center O. Bar, you will have to assume, to know the nature of the movement of various forces, you have to assume that bar is free to rotate about an axis through movement center O. Now there is an axis, right, through O. 200 movement will be 0 since line of action is passing through movement center. 500 Newton force is going to rotate this bar in anti-clockwise direction. So 500 into 3 anti-clockwise plus 350 will try to rotate it in clockwise direction. So movement is clockwise, minus 350 into 7.5. Then 150 will try to rotate the bar about an axis through in anti-clockwise direction. So 150 into 10. How you got 10? 3 plus 4.5 plus 2.5, 10. Anti-clockwise plus 200 into 12. 200 will also try to rotate the bar in anti-clockwise direction. 200 into 12. We sum it up. What it comes? Plus 2775. Sigma mo is positive. Now this point, everybody should pay full attention on this part. Sigma mo is algebraic sum of the movement all forces about O, which comes out to be positive. Positive means what it is? Anti-clockwise. अभी यहाँ पे एक sentence हमें लिखना है जरूरी. Or this sentence is very important. What it is? Since sigma mo is anti-clockwise, movement resultant about O should also be anti-clockwise as per Verignos theorem. मैं Verignos theorem कैसे लगाऊंगा? Sigma mo is and MRO have to be same ना? तो मेरा sigma mo anti-clockwise है, तो मुझे resultant ऐसा place करना है कि वो भी anti-clockwise movement देना चाहिए about point O. And this is what is the use of Verignos theorem in placement of resultant. Now we come to this side. Now R is 300 Newton. It should be placed right of force at distance say x bar as shown in the figure, so that movement resultant. Now अभी ऐसा देखो, ये resultant upward है. Resultant कहीं भी हो सकता है, even बार के बाहर भी जा सकता है. मैंने right hand side पे कहीं पे भी थोड़े distance पे जाके उसको upward right side में दिखा दिया. Resultant upward है, उसको कोई change नहीं कर सकता है. तो nobody can change resultant nature upward. So मैं उसको right of O डालूंगा तो वो मुझे about O anti clockwise में देगा. मैंने इसको लेफ्ट ऑफ ओ भी डाल सकते हैं, रिजल्टेंट कैन लाई आउटसाइड द बॉडी ऑल्सो। इफ मैं लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में डालता हूँ अबव, तो it will give me clockwise movement. So, but I wanted anti-clockwise movement. That's why I have placed it right of O. I have placed it right of O anywhere at say distance x bar. यहाँ पे भी डाल सकते हैं आप इसको, यहाँ डाल सकते हैं, यहाँ कहीं भी डालो और यहाँ भी डाल दो. But x bar is in general. I have taken just the distance x bar. I don't know whether x bar will be less than 3 meter or it will be less than 7.5 meter or it will be 10 meter or 15 meter. It can be anything, right? But we are just to show it right of O as shown. So I have written it here. Since R is 300 Newton upward, it should be placed right of O at distance x bar, so that moment of RO is anti-clockwise. Now we apply Varigno's theorem. Varigno's theorem is what? Sigma MO is moment resultant about O. What is sigma MO? Plus 2775. देखो यहाँ मैंने निकाला, ये राइट हैंड साइड भी प्लस ही आएगा, उसी के लिए मैंने रिजल्टेंट को राइट साइड में डाला है ना. आई हैव प्लेस्ड द रिजल्टेंट ऑन द राइट साइड. सी अपवर्ड तो मैंने पहले ही निकाल लिया, राइट हैंड साइड पे डाला, सो दैट इट्स मूवमेंट अबाउट O इज एंटी क्लॉकवाइज. सो दिस स्टेटमेंट हेल्प्स मी इन पोजीशन ऑफ रिजल्टेंट. तो इसके लिए राइट साइड पे डाला. अभी देखो 2775 प्लस, आई मीन दिस इज एंटी क्लॉकवाइज. सो 300 मूवमेंट ऑफ रिजल्टेंट इनटू x बार इज एंटी क्लॉकवाइज अबाउट O. यहाँ डाल. सो व्हेन आई एम अप्लाइंग Varigno's theorem, you have to understand that both side will be plus or both side will be minus. ये जो आएगा यहाँ पे कुछ प्लस माइनस कुछ भी नहीं बचेगा. तो x बार इज 9.25 मीटर. अभी देखो ये 9.25 मीटर आया, मैंने तो रिजल्टेंट को यहीं पे प्लेस कर दिया. ये बिटवीन इट इज शोइंग x बार इज मोर देन 3 मीटर लेस देन 4.5 मीटर, बट मेरा तो यहाँ पे आ गया. बट जब मैंने ये प्लेस किया था तो मुझे तो मालूम ही नहीं ना, जब मैंने ये प्लेस किया था मुझे तो मालूम ही नहीं कि वो x बार का वैल्यू कितना आएगा. तो आपको चेंज करने का कोई जरूरत नहीं है, राइट? You don't need to change the position of resultant. You have just shown it upward, you have shown it right of O, anywhere, that is perfect. Is it clear to everybody? So make sure that you don't change the position of resultant in the diagram. Also, I have written this important point while applying Varigno's theorem. Sigma MO and moment of resultant about O will always be of same nature, either clockwise or they will be anti-clockwise. So this way we have placed the resultant. Students, many times we see that students do not mark position of resultant. They solve the entire problem somehow and they get x bar R every, but position resultant is not marked, whether it is right of O, left of O, upward, downward. So you consider that if you are solving a problem of 6 marks, examiner will give you 3 to 4 marks if you do not mark the position resultant. So that's why marking the position resultant is one of the most important parts of the sum. All right, so we are ready to move to the next sum. Now, next problem, find the resultant with respect to C. In this problem, he has mentioned that you need to solve the resultant with respect to point C. Can you see that? Normally, they do not say. If they had not said anything, we could have taken reference point as A, or we could have taken reference point at B. Normally, हम reference point को बीच में नहीं लेते हैं. क्यों नहीं लेते हम reference point को बीच में? सर बीच में से डिस्टेंस मेजर करना थोड़ा प्रॉब्लमेटिक होता है. एक इस बाजू से मेजर करो या वो बाजू से मेजर करो. अभी लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हाट इज द टोटल लेंथ ऑफ दिस बार? 40 सेंटीमीटर प्लस 30, 70 प्लस 50 इज 120. तो सपोज मैंने रिजल्टेंट ए से निकाला, 120 सेंटीमीटर इज लेंथ. सपोज रिजल्टेंट ए से आया 80 सेंटीमीटर राइट ऑफ ए. अब टोटल लेंथ कितनी है बार की? 120. सपोज आपने बी से सॉल्व किया तो बी से कितना आएगा? 40 सेंटीमीटर लेफ्ट ऑफ बी. तो पोजीशन रिजल्टेंट विल नॉट चेंज, only its distance will change from A or B. Clear? Now, as forces are parallel to y-axis, R is going to be sigma F1. Can you see that here? Now, let's summarize. 15 Newton up, positive. 16 Newton down, negative. 10 Newton up, positive. 25 Newton down, negative. We have summed them up. What it comes? Minus 60. Minus means what? It is downward. Hence, resultant force is what? 60 Newton down. With this, you got magnitude resultant, you got direction resultant. Now he wants you to find position of resultant with respect to point C. So I'll have to apply Varigno's theorem through point C. अभी मैं अपने प्रॉब्लम पे जा रहा हूँ, डायग्राम पे. यहाँ पे मैंने लाइन डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया because thickness of the bar is not significant as per our scale. So मैंने एक लाइन डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया. This is showing the bar on which forces are acting. यहाँ पे मैंने अभी ये पॉइंट के ऊपर C is my reference point. C is my reference point. So I'll assume an axis through point C perpendicular to the bar. Now, movement of 60 Newton about C will be definitely 0. Line of action is passing through C. Now 15 Newton. 15 Newton will try to rotate the bar about point C in clockwise direction. So 15 into 40 is clockwise minus. 10 upward on the right side, 10 into 30 will give anti-clockwise movement, positive. 25 into 80, that will give you clockwise movement, which is taken minus. So you can see that here we are 10 into 30, I've taken anti-clockwise. 25 into 80, that is clockwise minus, and on the left hand side 15 will also give you clockwise. Now again I repeat that to know the nature of the movement about any move of all the forces about movement center, you assume an axis through the movement center perpendicular to the body, and consider that body is free to rotate about an axis through movement center. Then 15 will try to rotate about an axis through C clockwise, so negative. 15 into 40 negative. 10 will try to rotate the bar about an axis through C in anti-clockwise direction, positive. 25 into 80 is clockwise, it is minus. So we have summed them up, which comes out to be minus 2300. Minus indicative that sigma MC is clockwise. Sigma MC is clockwise is algebraic sum of moment all force about C is clockwise. If sigma MC is clockwise, moment resultant about C will also be clockwise. Moment or resultant about C will also be clockwise as per Verigno's theorem. Now resultant was 60 Newton downward, which you cannot change. So now the 60 Newton resultant, you have to place it compulsorily on the right of C. यहाँ पे दिखाओ, यहाँ दिखाओ, यहाँ दिखाओ, that does not make difference. You have to place it right of C somewhere and say at distance x bar. ये x bar की जगह हम d भी लिखेंगे तो भी चलता है. It is just a notation we are to perpendicular distance, right? If I am putting the resultant right of C, it will give me clockwise movement. If you put the resultant right of C, it gives me clockwise movement. Now we apply Verigno's theorem. Sigma MC we got minus 2300. Minus is indicative that it is clockwise. We have placed the resultant in such a way it will give clockwise movement about C. So what is that? 60 into x bar minus since clockwise. अभी दोनों side देखो, मैंने last problem में बोला था, when you are applying Verigno's theorem, both side will be clockwise or both side will be anti-clockwise. अभी ये both side clockwise आ गया तो minus minus will go. X bar is 38.33. 38.33, that is almost matching because it is x bar what I have marked it. It is more than 30 and less than 80. But we don't change it. Even if you have shown it here, that's okay. It is there. But students, do not write the value of x bar in the diagram. You should not write the value of x bar in the diagram. Why we should not write the value of x bar in the diagram? Because most of the time it may not match with what you have shown and what you have arrived at. So that's why we show the perpendicular distance of the resultant from the movement center as in general form only. X bar, y bar, d, x, y, anything what we take it. Now we move to the third problem. In the third problem, you have a bar for which you are finding the force which is equivalent to 4 forces shown. What does it mean? Equivalent force means what? Resultant only. You need to find the resultant only. See, 4 forces are to be replaced by 1 force. What does it mean? You are replacing them by equivalent force, which is nothing but resultant. One more thing which you should write, I have written it somewhere in the important points related to resultant. ये एक support system है, which we call it as hinge. अभी आगे हम समझेंगे when we go to the further chapters. ये एक support system है. तो कभी भी जब हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं रिजल्टेंट की, तो कभी भी रिएक्शन नहीं कंसिडर करते. इफ यू आर कंसिडरिंग द रिएक्शन, तो देन द प्रॉब्लम गोज टू इक्विलिब्रियम. इक्विलिब्रियम की जो प्रॉब्लम है, व्हिच इज आवर अदर चैप्टर ऑफ कोप्लानर फोर्सेस, इक्विलिब्रियम ऑफ कोप्लानर फोर्सेस, in that we consider the reaction. So do remember that we never consider the result, we never consider the reactions in the problem of result. Okay, now we have drawn the diagram. In the diagram, this time all forces are parallel to x-axis. All forces are parallel to x-axis. So R will be written as this time sigma fx. ये देखो अभी, ये 50, this is to the right, positive. 200 is to the left, negative. 50 to the left, negative. 100 to the right, positive. मैंने उनको sum up किया. क्या है मेरा? -100. Minus means what? It is not to the right, it is to the left. अभी मेरा resultant आ गया. क्या निकाल दिया मैंने? Resultant R is equal to 100 kilonewton towards left. मैग्नीट्यूड आ गया रिजल्टेंट का, पोजीशन आ गई. ठीक है, अभी नाउ वील हैव टू फाइंड द पोजीशन ऑफ रिजल्टेंट. अभी उसने कुछ बोला ही नहीं है किस पॉइंट से निकाला, तो मैंने ए पॉइंट को मैंने रेफरेंस पॉइंट ले लिया. ए पॉइंट को रेफरेंस लिया तो यहाँ पे मैंने एक एक्सिस अज्यूम कर दिया पासिंग थ्रू ए. Now we have to take moment of all forces about A, sigma MA. That means, what is going to be sigma MA? We have to calculate sigma MA. Come to this side. Yes. Moment of 50 about A is 0. 200 will try to rotate this bar about axis through A in anti-clockwise. 200 into 2. 50 into 4 anti-clockwise. 100 will try to rotate the bar about an axis through A in clockwise direction. So minus 100 into 7. So kitna aaya? Minus 100. Minus 100 means what it is? Clockwise. So since sigma MA is clockwise, movement or resultant about A will also be clockwise. So abhi mujhe A point ke about resultant which is to the left should be placed. If I place it above A to the left, it will give me anti-clockwise. If I place it below A, yahan pe R likhna reh gaya. This is R. You can understand looking at its thickness, right? This is R. So this R has been placed. Okay, just printing is R is for missed out here, right? Right. I hope you can understand that. So R has to be to the left and it has to be below A. R is to the left, which is already found 100 kilonewton. You place it below A at distance y bar. इस बार मैंने distance का symbol y bar कर दिया. Why y bar? Since it is measured in y direction. ठीक है. Now, if I take resultant below A, it will give me clockwise movement, which is required. Now apply Varigno's theorem. Sigma MA was minus 100. Movement resultant will be what? R is also 100 into y bar. Minus minus will go, y bar is 1 meter. Hence resultant is 100 kilonewton to the left at y bar is equal to 1 meter below A as shown. So this is your resultant, which is 1 meter below A. So this is what is this way the position of resultant. So you have seen that in last 3 problems, we have found the resultant of parallel force system. What we have found? Resultant of parallel force system. In first 2 problems, we found the resultant when force system was vertical, right? In this problem, force system is parallel to x-axis. Now the next problem, which I'll take it, you'll find that when resultant force is 0, then what to do in that case? Now, okay. Now we are given with again a parallel force system. You are given with a parallel force system acting on a bar. You have to find the resultant. I have drawn the diagram again here. Same diagram, it is drawn again. Now, this is 2 meter, 3 meter, and this is 2 meter. It is marked. All right. Now, R is equal to all forces are parallel to. Since all forces are parallel to y-axis, we'll say R is equal to sigma Fy. Just see that. This 200 down negative, 300 down negative, 300 up positive, 200 up positive. Sum them up, it comes 0. That means resultant force R is 0. Resultant force R is 0. Clear? Now, you remember that what I had said it in the limitation of Lami's theorem? Lami's theorem is not applicable when resultant of parallel or general force system is 0. ठीक है. अभी अब कैसे लगाएंगे? कोई रिजल्टेंट ही 0 हो गया तो वेरिग्नोस थ्योरम लगा ही नहीं सकते ना. परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस निकालने के लिए यूज करते हैं हम वेरिग्नोस थ्योरम. अभी फोर्स ही नहीं है तो व्हाट परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस यू फाइंड? सो एट दिस स्टेज you should remember this note. I have written important note out here. You'll remember it what way? In parallel and general force systems, if resultant force is 0, system reduces to a couple. In such a case, resultant moment is equal to sigma m about any point. Why about any point? याद है मैंने बीच में बताया था movement of the couple is fixed, it does not depend upon movement center. So अभी जब ये resultant force 0 हो गया, आप parallel force system की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं या जनरल फोर्स सिस्टम की, जब भी आपका रिजल्टेंट फोर्स 0 आ गया तो एकदम समझ लेने का कि सिस्टम हैज रिड्यूस्ड टू अ कपल, राइट? क्योंकि वो देख के पता नहीं चलता है, बट रिजल्टेंट फोर्स 0, इट इज इंडिकेटिव दैट इट हैज रिड्यूस्ड टू अ कपल. बस अभी एक ही आंसर सीधा बोलने का, रिजल्टेंट मूवमेंट. रिजल्टेंट मूवमेंट क्या होगा? सिग्मा एम अबाउट एनी पॉइंट. कोई सा भी पॉइंट ले लो, उसका सिग्मा एम निकालना है तरह में. अभी हमने पॉइंट ए ले लिया, सपोज सिग्मा एम, तो मूवमेंट इसका तो 0 हो गया. यहीं पे एक एक्सिस अज्यूम करने का अबाउट 300 into 2 clockwise minus 300 into 5 anti-clockwise plus 200 into 7 anti-clockwise plus. सबको सम अप करो, plus 2300. Plus means what? Anti-clockwise. Problem खत्म. When resultant force is 0, then resultant movement sigma m about any point मैंने a point लेके निकाल दिया. यहाँ तुम्हारा सॉल्यूशन खत्म हो गया। उसके बाद ये मैंने चेक क्या किया, एक और पॉइंट मैंने लेके दिखाया कि ये सेम आता है, बट ये जब ही सेम आएगा जब it will be same only when your system has reduced to a couple. Like in first three problems, sigma m about A, B, C, D all will be different. Only in this type of the problem, when resultant force is zero, when system has reduced to couple, only in that case sigma m about all points will be same. Now अभी देखो इधर resultant movement sigma m भी लिया हमने, when sigma m भी लिया तो B के about movement center हो गया about an axis, 200 into 2 anti-clockwise plus 300 into 3 anti-clockwise plus 200 into 5 anti-clockwise plus. All forces will try to rotate the bar about an axis through B in anti-clockwise direction. मैंने सबको sum up कर दिया plus 2300. Is it coming same? मैंने यहाँ पे एक लिखा even sigma MC, sigma MD or sigma M any other point will also come out to be same only. But again, I'm repeating this point that when you are solving the problems of parallel force system or general force system, okay, and when the resultant force comes out to be zero, immediately ये जो note मैंने लिखा है याद रखने का, see resultant has become zero, that means it has reduced to a couple. If it has reduced to a couple, then resultant moment term comes, and result moment is sigma m about any point. कोई सा point पकड़ लो, it will come out to be same only. It will come out to be same only. Is that clear? Now we move to the next one. Now let's read first the sum. What it is, now we are not finding resultant. Now he is not asking to find the resultant. What he is asking, replace 1200 Newton force at C by a force couple system at D and A. Abhi we had understood in the theory. Now अपने पास एक bar है. Now just see that this is a bar. It is of length 600 plus or 1.5 meter, 1500 mm की length है. उसके ऊपर एक 1200 Newton का force लगाया at point C vertically down. He is asking you to find equivalence at D and A. तो अभी हम क्या ले 1200 न्यूटन ए बी सी हमने एक बार एक थोड़ा सा इसको लाइन डायग्राम जैसा बना दिया. You want equivalence at D. Equivalence at D will be what? Same 1200 Newton will come at D as it is. What else will come? Take movement of 1200 about D. Movement of 1200 about D लेंगे. Take an axis through point D. 1200 will try to rotate the bar in anti-clockwise direction. So what is movement of 1200 about D? 1200 into 500, which comes out to be 600 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. देखो मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा भी है. Can you see that? This point. Given 1200 force at C will be equivalent to 1200 force as it is at D. Movement of 1200 Newton force in the given diagram about D. So 1200 into 500 is 600 into 10 raised to 3 Newton mm anti-clockwise. वो मैंने यहाँ पे ये आंसर हो गया अभी आपका. This is your answer. ये this explanation if you don't write in the examination it's okay. Directly ये diagram का force का personality same force at is a D. Movement of 1200 in the given diagram about point. ठीक है. अभी हम लोग इसको चेक करेंगे एट पॉइंट ए. अभी इधर आ जाओ. नेक्स्ट आई हैव टेकन नाउ यू वांट 1200 न्यूटन इक्विवेलेंस एट ए. तो सबसे पहले 1200 एज इट इज जैसा सी पे ऐसा का ऐसा 1200 डाल दो. अभी यू वांट एट ए तो टेक मूवमेंट ऑफ 1200 अबाउट ए. इफ यू टेक मूवमेंट ऑफ 1200 अबाउट ए 1200 into 1000 will it be clockwise or not? वो डाल दो. So you can see that given 1200 to force at C will be equivalent to the following at A. 1200 Newton force as it is at A and movement of 1200 Newton force in the given diagram about point A. 1200 into 100. This is going to be, by mistake it is written 100, it is going to be 1000. This perpendicular distance is not 100, what it is? 1000. So 1200 into 1000 gives you clockwise movement. All right, 1200 into 10 raised to 3 Newton mm, which is clockwise. So this small printing error is there. This perpendicular distance is shown as 100, which is 1000. Hope it is understood. Rest all, everything is correct in this. There is no. So again, I repeat, you are given with 1200 Newton force at C. You want to find its equivalence at D. Equivalence at D क्या होएगा? Same force as it is डाल दो. Take movement of 1200 about D. 1200 into 500 anti-clockwise डाल. You want equivalence at A. 1200 as it is at A. Movement of 1200 about A. 1200 into 1000. That is what is clockwise movement. Clear? This is the case. This is the methodology What we use it when you have a single force given on the body and you want to find its equivalence at some other point, which will be having two components, one same force as it is, and a moment which is the moment of the given force about a point where equivalence is required. Okay, now we come to the next sum. What is given in this sum? Let's read that. Find equivalent force coupled system at A, B, and D. Find equivalent force coupled system at A, B, and D. You are given with the force system. This is your question. You are given with the force. This is your problem. It is a parallel force system. Example, R is equal to sigma F. So इधर एक point ये याद रखने का. What is that? I'm reading this note. For parallel and general force systems, equivalent force coupled system at any point is equal to resultant force and sigma m about that point. That means ये problem में अभी आपको resultant तो निकालना है, but position of resultant की जरूरत नहीं है. You don't need to apply Varigno's theorem for finding the position of resultant. You don't need to apply Varigno's theorem when you are given a parallel force system or general force system and examiner is asking equivalent force coupled system at some other point. So you will remember this note. Result equivalent force coupled system at any point is resultant force and sigma m about that point in the given diagram. Now अभी देखो, सबसे पहले मैंने यहाँ पे resultant निकाल लिया. Resultant is sigma fi since all forces are parallel to y-axis. So 110 is positive up, 60 negative down, 75 up positive, 80 down negative. So what it comes? Plus 45. Plus 45 is what? 45 kilonewton upward. So you have found result. एक काम अभी आपका हो गया. अभी आपको force coupled system at A चाहिए तो sigma ma calculate करना है. Sigma force coupled system at B चाहिए तो sigma mb calculate करने का in the given diagram and D तो sigma m. अभी मुझे तीनों चाहिए तो मैंने तीनों एक साथ पहले कैलकुलेट कर दिए, फिर मैं एक डायग्राम के हेल्प से उनको एक्सप्लेन कर प्लेस रिप्रेजेंट करूँ. अभी देखो ये डायग्राम में नाउ सिग्मा एम. एक मूवमेंट सेंटर इज ए. Assume an axis passing through the movement center A. Movement of 110 is 0. 60 will try to rotate the rod about an axis through A clockwise, 60 into 2 clockwise. 75 will try to rotate in anti-clockwise, 75 into 5 anti-clockwise plus. 80 into 6.5 clockwise minus. ये मेरा minus 265 आया, तो that means clockwise. Sigma MB. Movement when you take sigma MB, movement 60 about B is 0. 110 into 2 clockwise minus. 75 into 3 anti-clockwise plus. 80 into 4.5 clockwise minus. Again this came minus, so that means clockwise. Then movement about D. When you take movement about D, movement of 80 about D will be 0. 75 into 1.5 clockwise minus. 60 into 4.5 anti-clockwise plus. 110 into 6.5 clockwise minus. Right? You get it 557.5. That is 557.5 kilonewton meter clockwise. We found by chance sigma ma is also clockwise, D is also clockwise. It can be whatever it is, we are calculating it. Now, this note is not part of the solution of the problem in the examination. You have to simply say that force coupled system at A. यहाँ से तुम्हारा ये calculate हो गया. ये note जो है ना, this is explanatory note. It is for your reference. It is यहाँ पे directly एक heading लिखो force coupled system at A. Draw the diagram in a symbolic way. A, B, C, D दिखाया. At point A पे हम क्या डालेंगे? Resultant. देखो ये 45 किलोन्यूटन आपका resultant मैंने डाल दिया. What else I have put it? Sigma ma. What is that? 265 किलोन्यूटन. बस ये अब अभी force couple equivalent force couple system at A हो गया. अभी equivalent force couple system at B. B के ऊपर resultant डाल दो 45. अब sigma mb 355 किलोन्यूटन. Force couple system at D. Draw a diagram in a symbolic way. At point D 45 kilonewton up. Sigma md 557.5 kilonewton. Like that. So I repeat again the concept of this problem. In parallel or general force system, if they find they have given a parallel force and general force system and they find equivalent force coupled system any point. So you remember this note, what I have marked it here, that equivalent force coupled system at any point is resultant force and sigma m about that point. So that ये basic working करके रखने का और बाद में एक diagram जरूर बनाने का. This diagram or this diagram or this diagram should not be skipped in such problems. You have to draw a diagram. You have to mark the resultant, you have to mark sigma m about that point, and then put a heading force coupled system at that point. Now, next level of the problems, seventh problem of the type, resolve 15 kilonewton force at A into parallel components at B and C. अभी तक जो हमने प्रॉब्लम किए हैं, whatever problems we have solved, we were given a force system and we are finding resultant. अभी क्या उल्टा हो गया? क्या हो गया? He is saying that मैंने 15 kilonewton force is given at point A. He has given a rod which is 3 plus 4 plus 1, 8 meter long. It is 8 meter long. 15 kilonewton is applied at A. Now you want parallel components. So I'm saying that let P and Q be the downward vertical components acting at B and C. ये देखो मैंने ये मैंने assume किया P, ये मैंने Q assume किया downward. मुझे मालूम है क्या ये downward होएगा कि upward होएगा? No. इसके लिए मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा let. I am assuming that B and C are downward at P and Q are downward. अभी ये एक parallel force system का problem बन गया. क्या है? ये P and Q are forming a parallel force system and their resultant is 15 kilonewton, because what he asked, 15 kilonewton is to be resolved into parallel components at B and C. So that means, can I say that resultant of P and Q is 15 kilonewton at A or not? अभी ये एक बार समझ में आ गया तो अभी now we can solve it as a problem of resultant of parallel force system. मैंने लिखा R is equal to sigma Fi. यहाँ पे मेरी साइन कन्वेंशन क्या रहेगी? R is negative since downward, sigma Fi, P downward, Q downward. So R is also downwards, P is downwards, all are minus. मैं लिखा भी all forces are downward. So ये एक इक्वेशन मेरी बन गई. थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई करके लिख दिया P plus Q square. अभी मुझे वेरिग्नोस थ्योरम लगाना है. वेरिग्नोस थ्योरम आप A पॉइंट के अबाउट लगा दो, B के अबाउट लगा दो, C के अबाउट लगा दो, D के अबाउट लगा दो, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. यहाँ मैंने A के अबाउट लगा दिया. सिग्मा MA इज MRA. सिग्मा MA में लूंगा तो मूवमेंट किसका लेना है मुझे? P और Q का. ऑल राइट. एंड मूवमेंट और रिजल्टेंट अबाउट ए तो जीरो हो जाएगा. क्यों जीरो हो जाएगा? क्योंकि रिजल्टेंट इज पासिंग थ्रू ए. मैंने ए ही मूवमेंट सेंटर ले लिया तो मूवमेंट रिजल्टेंट अबाउट ए इज जीरो. आर यू क्लियर अबाउट इट? नाउ यहाँ पे पहले सिग्मा में मूवमेंट ऑफ पी अबाउट ए पी इंटू 3 क्लॉकवाइज माइनस, मूवमेंट ऑफ क्यू अबाउट ए इज क्यू इंटू 7 माइनस, एंड मूवमेंट रिजल्टेंट अबाउट ए 15 इंटू 0. All right. So minus 3p minus 7q is 0. Now you got it, or we can write this equation 3p plus 7q is equal to 0. Abhi equation number 1 and 2 we will solve. When we solve equation number 1 and 2, p comes out to be positive and q comes out to be negative. Abhi at this situation, this is a very important note I have listed here in for mechanics. Now ये नोट में मैंने ऐसा लिखा है कि when we are solving the problem of mechanics in any chapter, again I repeat, when we are solving the problems of mechanics in any chapter and you assume the direction of unknown force, reaction or anything, and you solve the problem as per the sign convention of the chapter, and after solving the problem आपका unknown positive आया तो assume direction correct, आपका unknown negative आया तो assume direction was wrong. तो अभी ये प्रॉब्लम जब मैंने सॉल्व किया तो मेरा P पॉजिटिव आया. मैंने इनिशियली P एंड Q दोनों को डाउनवर्ड अज्यूम किया. मैंने साइन कन्वेंशन फॉलो किया चैप्टर का. सॉल्व करने के बाद P पॉजिटिव आया तो मैं क्या अज्यूम करूंगा? अभी अज्यूम डायरेक्शन ऑफ P वाज रॉन्ग, इट इज डाउनवर्ड ओनली. अभी ऐसा मत बोलने लगना P पॉजिटिव है तो इसको तो सर ऊपर ले लो, राइट? Q नेगेटिव है तो इसको डाउनवर्ड. नहीं, अभी वो नहीं चलेगा. नाउ इट इज अ कंक्लूजन. P इज पॉजिटिव मींस अज्यूम डायरेक्शन इज करेक्ट. तो वैल्यू फाइनल आंसर ऑफ P, कैन यू सी दैट हियर? P is 26.25 kilometer downward. This note has been written about this concept, this conclusion. And Q, since it is negative, it is not downward, what it is upward. Now I have written a note also further. In this problem, Verignos theorem can be applied about any point, which I have already spoken to you, right? You can apply Verignos theorem through A, B, C, D, anything you apply. You have to just follow the concepts. Once you follow the concept, there won't be any Okay, now we come to the next problem. Eighth problem of the type. This is also a good problem. Resultant of uh, three forces are shown, and two forces P and Q are acting at A and B, form a couple. I mean, you are given with this diagram on which 7 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton, and 9 kilonewton are given. And you have to assume two parallel forces at A and B, which you can call it as P and Q. Okay. Now I have drawn the diagram. मैंने A के ऊपर P ले लिया, B के ऊपर Q लिया, जो उसने बोला है, acting at A and B. The resultant of these five forces, resultant of the five forces, three are given as shown and two are assumed. Again, direction of P and Q is assumed. Against direction of P and Q is assumed. मैंने ये देखो यहाँ लिखा भी है. क्या लिखा है? Let P and Q be the downward vertical force at A and B as shown. Assumed है वो, right? We don't know whether they will be upward or they will be downward. अभी वो क्या बोल रहा है प्रॉब्लम के अंदर कि ये तीन गिवन फोर्स और दो तुमने जो assume किए, इन सबका रिजल्टेंट 120 किलोन्यूटन मीटर क्लॉकवाइज है. अभी यहाँ पे एक हिडन फैक्ट है प्रॉब्लम का. रिजल्टेंट ऑफ फाइव फोर्सेस 7, 15, 9, P and Q is what? 120 kilonewton meter clockwise. That means resultant of parallel force system is clockwise. What does it mean? That means it is reducing to a couple. It is reducing to a couple means resultant force will be zero. See, he has given answer of the resultant that it's a couple. Couple comes only when resultant force is zero. So hidden fact about the problem is that resultant force of the given system is zero. And resultant movement is 120 kilonewton meter clockwise means what? माइनस 120 किलोमीटर मीटर. अभी देखो मैंने इधर डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया, P दिखाया, Q दिखाया, 7, 15 ये सब दिखा दिया. तो सबसे पहले मैं R इज इक्वल टू सिग्मा Fi लगा सकता हूं कि नहीं? अभी देखो R इज व्हाट? रिजल्टेंट इज 0. सिग्मा Fi माइनस P सिंस डाउनवर्ड, माइनस 7 सिंस डाउनवर्ड, प्लस 9 सिंस अपवर्ड, माइनस 15 सिंस डाउनवर्ड, माइनस Q सिंस डाउनवर्ड. ये एक इक्वेशन मेरा बन गया. P प्लस Q इज माइनस 30 मैंने निकाला. अभी रिजल्टेंट मूवमेंट इज व्हाट? सिग्मा M अबाउट एनी पॉइंट. से हमने ए पॉइंट ले लिया. रिजल्टेंट मूवमेंट उसने दिया 120 किलोन्यूटन मीटर क्लॉकवाइज कपल. दैट मींस सिग्मा एम अबाउट एनी पॉइंट कैन बी टेकन, सो आई रोट इट माइनस सिंस इट इज क्लॉकवाइज. सो दैट मींस आई एम टेकिंग पॉइंट ए, सो सिग्मा एम इज क्लॉकवाइज. सिग्मा एम इज क्लॉकवाइज, दैट मींस इट इज माइनस 1. अभी सिग्मा एम ये पॉइंट पे आपका मूवमेंट सेंटर है. यू हैव टेकन एन एक्सिस, you assume that bar is free to rotate upon axis through A. All right. Movement of P about A will be 0. 7 will try to rotate the bar in clockwise direction, 7 into 1 clockwise minus. 9 into 3 anti-clockwise plus. 15 will try to rotate the bar about an axis through A in clockwise direction, so 15 into 4 clockwise minus. Q will also give clockwise movement identically, Q into 5 clockwise minus equal to 0. अभी इसको मैंने सॉल्व किया तो there is only Q as unknown. If I solve it, Q comes plus 16. प्लस का मतलब अभी क्या हुआ? That means its assumed direction is correct. इधर लिखने का जरूरत नहीं है, आपने सॉल्व कर लिया पूरा प्रॉब्लम. फाइनली योर Q came positive, that means assumed direction is correct. Q का वैल्यू मैंने इधर डाल दिया इक्वेशन नंबर 1 के अंदर, तो मेरा P क्या आया? -29. माइनस का मतलब क्या है? मेरा assumed डायरेक्शन P का रॉन्ग था. ये मैंने डाउनवर्ड assume किया, डाउनवर्ड नहीं होएगा, ये अपवर्ड होएगा. This is what is going to be the, we solve such problems in this manner. So in this problem, he had given that resultant of given parallel force system, which is having 5 forces, P and Q at A and B were unknown, 7, 15 and 9 were given to you. The resultant of all 5 parallel forces is 0. Why we understand it 0? Since he says the resultant of all is a couple. Couple comes only when resultant is 0. So hidden fact about this problem is that resultant force is 0 and resultant movement is sigma m about any point. We can solve this problem by taking movement center A, B, C or any other point also. Well, students, in this lecture, I have covered covered or explained to you 8 problems of resultant of parallel force system. With these 8 problems, all concepts have been covered. But still, you want to go refer to the theory part, some more theory or some more solved problems are there, some more unsolved problems are there. You need to refer to my book, right, which is available on Amazon. All right, its link is given in the description of the playlist also. So right, make sure that please do refer the book. Book is very useful. It will help you a lot Our next lecture will be on type 3 of resultant of coplanar forces. This is my second lecture. Third lecture is going to be on resultant of general force system, which will be uploaded soon. Thank you.